Peace. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Five Playland. As always, I'm your Five Player, and I'll get right into it. I wanted to make this video regarding the recent announcement or rumor, whatever have you, of Lomachenko ultimately getting the fight with George Kambosos. I'm assuming that fight's going to be in Australia. The bigger news, I think, is the fact that Devin Haney didn't get an opportunity to fight Kambosos and unify. But I'll get into what I think of that in a second. There was also rumors that Ryan Garcia was going to get the fight against Kambosos. I think a lot of people started smelling Kambosos may duck Devin Haney in a match pretty much right after Kambosos beat Tiafimo. Maybe like a week later, there was like some inkling that he wasn't gun-ho about fighting Devin Haney. Ultimately, he chose Lomachenko personally, and this is not me shitting on Devin Haney because I actually like Devin Haney. I don't think Devin Haney is at the level of like a Shakur Stevenson or even Lomachenko. I think Devin Haney is not at that level. So ultimately, I think that the Lomachenko Kambosos fight is a little bit of a better fight than Devin Haney versus Kambosos. Even though I think that the Devin Haney fight versus Kambosos you will unify the division. That said, though, as far as talent wise, I think Lomachenko is more talented than Devin Haney personally. But in spite of all that, I still like Devin Haney. I think the fact that he's pursuant of the people he wants to fight. I think the fact that he jumped into the ring right after Kambosos beat Tiafimo, it just shows a lot to me. I mean, he said that he was willing to go to Australia. He said he was willing to fight Kambosos on Jupiter, given the opportunity. He's still like saying stuff in regards to wanting to take the fight. And this is I saw on Facebook. Like, somebody else posted it. I think it was like on the LDBC like page that I'm part of in Facebook. Somebody put a comment that Devin Haney tweeted out. Basically, it was saying that whatever offer that he was willing to take to give Lomachenko, that he'd sign up for that same offer. I think ultimately, regardless, he could undercut himself. I don't think that Kambosos is going to fight him. And the reason I think that's going to happen, it's one of the wackest reasons. That's the boxing business. Now, like what I don't want to see, and what I'm already seeing anyway, but not that I don't want to see, but I don't have time to listen to your bullshit. If you're one of these content creators or subscribe to the notion as of some of these content creators and making this seem like this is the biggest travesty going on. Listen, if you don't like the boxing business or the business aspect of boxing, then you should have not cheered on or weaponized it when it came to Bud Crawford, particularly when it's against speaking of Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. You're making it seem like Errol Spence gets a more business points than Bud Crawford's business points. And secondly, having said all that, what Devin Haney wants to accomplish against Kambosos is probably the biggest accomplishment of Bud Crawford, where he unified a division that wasn't welterweight. So what good will it do him? I mean, like right now, I mean, you people crap on the notion that Bud Crawford unified at a lower weight than 147. So I mean, like, and it's something that you could trivialize, like when you're comparing it to all the great accolades that Errol Spence has accomplished throughout his career. Because my God, Errol Spence is right there with Moses and Jesus Christ as far as human beings in this world, and all that he's accomplished in the ring at 147. So daunting. Well, I mean, like, and a lot of you guys were making victory laps, like, and saying how great these business moves are. Well, you know what? Schemy little fucking dried up piece of shit in Bob Arum now made a business move that maybe you don't like. So I mean, maybe Bob Arum has a master plan, just like you guys think that Errol Spence has a master plan for fighting Urdenis Ugas. It's for a belt. It's for a belt. Like, no, I don't want to hear it. Like, it's a lame ass fight that's not being fought when there's a fantastic fight, the best fight, right in front of him with Bud Crawford. So don't come crying now. And I mean, I see a lot of these content creators doing just that, bitching that a guy that they actually like is now being hurt by the same tools that they employ against another black fighter at the end of the day. Because a lot of the channels that I see riffing about it now are a lot of the same channels that I love. I love black YouTube boxing. No shame in my game. Like, I'm not a white boy, but I swirl in that department. I like YouTube boxing prevalently more, like that's done by the brothers. No sweat. But I see a lot of these dudes choking on dick recently because they're not getting their way. But maybe 2 months ago, what's Bud Crawford gonna do now? What's Bud Crawford gonna do now? Who's he gonna fight if Errol Spence takes on a nice little fight and Dennis Ugas? Now eat dick. Eat dick. I'm glad. I wish that you see Bob Arum's sweaty fucking molly skin, like fucking laughing at you every night. The boxing business, if you want to big it up and because you want to use it as a protection apparatus for Errol Spence, and you want to say that the boxing business makes it okay for Errol Spence to either duck Bud Crawford or for Bud Crawford having a bend over for Errol Spence, and you guys say far worse than what I just said as far as the bend over aspect. Pause. But if you guys want to utilize that tool, well, you guys don't know history because the boxing business has always been utilized against black boxers. And in this case, you guys utilize the black boxing business against a black boxer for another black boxer who's being a total pussy in Errol Spence. So pat yourselves on the back, my friends. 2022 is going to be quite an adventure. And I'm speaking in the most sarcastic fashion that I could. 2022 is going to be whack. As far as what PBC is going to offer you. Because already, what you guys aren't covering in mass, like a lot of you guys that I'm talking about, aren't covering the fact that Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence is coming right down the pipe after Dennis Ugas gets beat by Errol Spence, of which I think is definitely going to happen. Like, don't hype up, Ugas is going to give him problems because he just came off surgery. No. Like, this fight is only intriguing because of Errol Spence's stupidity outside of the ring. And that also is to include the eye surgery because that may have been an issue from getting launched out of a car while drunk, like an asshole. Nothing about Ugas versus Errol Spence is intriguing. And I hope you guys go out and steal that fight and give it numbers similar to what Keith Thurman just got against Mario Barrios. Go steal it on me. But at this current juncture, I mean, like I said, a lot of these channels aren't covering what seems to be pretty obvious or what seems to be a very tangible a very tangible possibility in that Errol Spence is going to fight Keith Thurman after he beats Dennis Ugas, a fight none of you guys asked for. Well, it's a nice little fight. It's a nice little fight because you see Errol Spence collect the name and, but no, that fight had to happen because Keith Thurman was wearing the WBC hat and he had that little medal on after that fight, so it has to happen. Like, no, well, eat shit. I mean, like, because I know what you guys are gonna be vomiting a couple months from now and trying to validate a potential Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence fight here happening probably in the summer. So don't come hating on Cambosos. You know what, bro? Cambosos, all the love in the world, bro. Like fucking do you, young man? I hope you beat Lomachenko. I don't think you will, but I hope you. And it's almost like I'd rather Bob Arum move up in the world rather than Al Heyman in the PBC, because Al Heyman in the PBC ain't doing shit for no real boxing fan. There's nothing they're giving you. So, I mean, do I rather have those belts riveted strapped to a fucking racist old guy like fucking and his promotion, fuck yeah. You know why? Because it's gonna equate to more action for me as a boxing fan. It's not gonna be, well, fucking um and even though Devin Haney is not part of the BBC, it's not gonna be some fucking PVC type character that you guys want to fucking hype up for no real good reason, or hype up when he eventually goes into hiding. Imagine Tank Davis with all those belts. You'll never get like fucking see Tank Davis fight anybody after that. So I'm glad that it's happening. And I'm glad that it's happening more so. And it's not because of Devin Haney, because I think Devin Haney is a good kid. And I like the fact that his dad is in his corner, not like in his corner in a boxing sense, but in his corner in his life and like partaking in all of his son's decisions. That's fantastic. But so I'm not rooting for him. And besides all that shit with his dad, I could give. I mean, that's not even a big deal, like, or as big of a deal as the fact that Devin Haney looks for action. He doesn't like. He didn't say, "Oh well, this is not my ring to step into after Tiafimo lost to fucking Cambosos." No, the motherfucker just jumped in. It's not rocket science. It's always happened in boxing, where if you want to fight somebody, you jump into their ring. Not like fucking make up excuses. Oh well, Errol Spence got a text from his coach saying he gotta leave, so you have to leave. Like, fuck, shut up. I'm sick of you guys, bro. Like, that's why I barely talk boxing. I only talk boxing a lot of times, like, to laugh at you guys, like fucking or I don't know, whatever the fuck. I mean, if I could let go of boxing talk altogether, I'd say screw it to the whole thing, like, personally, because there's nothing going on, like, and it's just basic. And the only thing I'm covering at this stage is the erosion of the boxing as a sport, and the boxing business too. Boxing business is suffering dramatically, and it's a representation of how bad the sport is suffering. So I mean, like, you guys want to get hyped up and cry about being slighted, or about Devin Haney being slighted because of race. He probably is getting slighted because of race, but sometimes you build the tools that are wielded against you, and that's what's happening in this case. Fuck the boxing business, and fuck you if that's what gets your rocks off, especially when it comes to a nobody, fucking one step away from a thousandaire like Errol Spence. So let me know what you guys think. Fuck the PVC and whatever.